I want to talk to you about a subject that keeps millions of men awake at night, yet very few have the courage to discuss openly. It is the challenge of the second round. You know the situation. Perhaps you have just had an intimate moment, but you want to continue. You want to go again, but your body simply refuses to cooperate. The erection fades, the desire drops, and recovering that firmness seems like an impossible mission. For many men, especially after the age of 50 or 60, this moment can be filled with frustration, embarrassment, and even a fear that they are losing their masculinity. You might worry that you are disappointing your partner. But before we go any further, I need to tell you something very important, something that urologists hear every single day. This is not just in your head, and it is not a sign that you are broken. There is a biological reason why this happens, and more importantly, there are proven scientific ways to hack your body's biology to shorten that recovery time. Today, we are going to go deep. I am going to explain exactly what happens inside your body after that first finish, and I am going to give you a complete roadmap, from nutrition to physical techniques, that will help you get hard again for a second round and keep that performance reliable, regardless of your age. Understanding the refractory period. First, we must understand the enemy. In medicine, the time between ejaculation and the ability to get another erection is called the refractory period. When you were 18 or 20, this period might have been just a few minutes. You could recover almost instantly, but as you age, this physiological interval naturally lengthens. It can turn into hours, or sometimes even days. Why does this happen? It is not because you ran out of energy, it is chemistry. Immediately after you climax, your brain releases a flood of hormones. The most important one to understand here is prolactin. Prolactin is often called the satiety hormone. It sends a signal to your body that says, "We are done here." It suppresses your dopamine, the chemical of desire, and it physically prevents your erection from returning immediately. At the same time, the smooth muscles in your blood vessels, which had to relax to let blood in for the erection, now need time to recover their sensitivity. So, if you are sitting there blaming yourself, stop. You are fighting against a powerful chemical tide of prolactin. However, just because this is natural does not mean we cannot optimize it. We can speed up the clearance of these chemicals and improve your vascular readiness. The foundation, circulation, and heart health. The first step to a faster recovery is accepting a simple truth. The penis is a vascular organ. It is purely hydraulic. If your pipes are clogged or your pump is weak, the fluid cannot get where it needs to go, especially not for a second time when the system is already tired. The absolute best way to shorten your recovery time is cardiovascular health. When you exercise regularly, specifically with cardio like walking, running, swimming, or cycling, you are training your arteries to dilate and constrict efficiently. You are keeping the inner lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, flexible. Think of it this way. A man who is sedentary has stiff arteries. After the first round, his body is exhausted and his blood vessels clamp down. A man who walks briskly for 30 minutes a day has elastic arteries. His blood flow restores much faster. This isn't just general health advice, it is a direct prescription for your bedroom performance. If you want a second round, you have to earn it with movement during the day. The natural Viagra nutritional strategy. Now, let's talk about fuel. What you eat plays a massive role in how quickly you can reset. There are specific nutrients that act almost like natural medication to support blood flow. The star of this show is an amino acid called citrulline. When you ingest citrulline, your kidneys convert it into arginine, and arginine is the precursor to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your blood vessels to open up and let the blood rush in. Without enough nitric oxide, an erection is physically impossible. Where do you find this? The best natural source is watermelon. It is rich in citrulline. Eating watermelon regularly helps keep your nitric oxide levels topped up, so your body doesn't have to work as hard to restart circulation. We also need to talk about omega-3 fatty acids. Found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, omega-3s are crucial for reducing inflammation in your arteries. If salmon is too expensive, sardines are a fantastic, affordable alternative. They help keep your blood less viscous, meaning it flows easier. And finally, do not forget leafy greens like spinach and arugula. These are loaded with dietary nitrates. When you chew them, bacteria in your mouth convert these nitrates into nitric oxide. It is a direct fuel injection for your erection quality. If your diet is poor, your recovery time will always be slow. I am talking about stress. Biologically, stress is the opposite of sex. When you are stressed, anxious, or worried about your performance, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. These are survival hormones. They are designed to help you fight a tiger or run away from danger. When adrenaline floods your system, your body constricts blood vessels in the extremities, including the penis, to send blood to your major muscles. This is why performance anxiety is so devastating. You worry about getting hard for the second round. That worry releases adrenaline, and that adrenaline physically shuts down the erection. It is a vicious cycle. If you want to master the second round, you must master your mind. You need to lower your cortisol. This means getting adequate sleep. If you sleep less than 6 hours, your testosterone drops and your cortisol spikes. You are starting the day at a disadvantage. Techniques like deep breathing or simply taking the pressure off yourself can work wonders. Remember, relaxation is not just a feeling, it is a chemical necessity for blood flow. The mental shift, resetting dopamine. There is a distinct difference between the first round and the second round. The first round is often driven by spontaneous physical urgency. You have accumulated desire. But the second round is a mental game. Because your prolactin is high and your natural urge has been satisfied, you cannot rely on automatic pilot. You have to actively re-engage your brain to stimulate dopamine release. This is where the importance of foreplay and mental connection cannot be overstated. Many men rush. They try to force the physical reaction immediately. That is a mistake. You need to spend time rebuilding the arousal. Touch, intimacy, and open communication with your partner are not just nice-to-haves. They are the triggers that tell your brain to override the prolactin and start the arousal sequence again. You have to court your partner again, in that very moment. Without that mental spark, the physical fire will not catch. The secret weapon, pelvic floor training. Let's move to a very physical, mechanical tactic. Many men ignore the muscles that actually control the erection. I am talking about the pelvic floor muscles, specifically the PC muscle. These are the muscles that surround the base of the penis. When you have an erection, these muscles contract to trap the blood inside, keeping you hard. If these muscles are weak, blood leaks out too fast, making it hard to maintain an erection or get a new one. You can strengthen these muscles with Kegel exercises. It is simple. Imagine you are trying to stop the flow of urine midstream. That contraction, that is a Kegel. You hold it for a few seconds, then relax. Do this in sets, every day. A strong pelvic floor does two things. First, it helps you sustain hardness. Second, and crucially for our topic today, it increases blood flow to the region, which speeds up the removal of metabolic waste products after ejaculation. It is like rehabilitation for the area. A man who does Kegels will almost always recover faster than a man who does not. When to see a doctor. I have given you natural strategies, but I must also be responsible. Sometimes, the inability to get an erection, whether it is the first or second time, is a sign of a deeper medical issue. Diabetes is a major factor. Uncontrolled high blood sugar damages both the nerves and the blood vessels. If you have diabetes, managing your sugar levels is the single most important thing you can do for your sexual health. Also, low testosterone, or hypogonadism, is common after 50. If you are doing everything right, exercising, eating well, sleeping, and you still have zero drive or ability, go to a urologist. There is no shame in modern medicine. Medications that improve erectile response are safe and effective when prescribed by a doctor. They can be a tool to break the cycle of anxiety and restore your confidence. Conclusion and next steps. So, here is the summary of your new plan. Understand that a longer refractory period is natural. but it is not a life sentence. Move your body every day to keep your arteries clear. Eat your citrulline and omega-3s. Prioritize sleep to kill cortisol. Re-engage your mind for the second round. Do not just expect it to happen automatically. And train your pelvic floor. You do not have to accept a decline in your intimacy just because of the calendar year. Your body is resilient and it responds to how you treat it. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these habits are you missing most? Is it the sleep, the diet, or perhaps the stress management? Tell me in the comments below. I read them, and I want to know what you are going to change starting today. Thank you for watching, and here is to your vitality.